This time on Low Boost, I try to fix some underlying problems on my E36 Turbo LS swap. In the last episode, I finally took my car out of storage for the winter and I brought it back to my house to do some more work on it before I actually tried to turn the boost up on this thing. The car ran great. So things look great right now with the rear end. We still got a lot of things to do. I gotta locate some E36 M3 axles and then ship them out to DSS to have them made in 1,000 horsepower axles, but also doing some other stuff too. I wanna make sure I have enough fuel when I really crank the boost up. So what I got was a Walbro 525. This is a hellcat pump. It's better than the Walbro 450 that I had in there. This should support 800 at the wheels. And that's probably more than I'm gonna try to make with the Gen 3 engine that I have in there now. But I did some things to modify it. So this whole cage here, this is all for an E36, but it didn't really match up right. So what I did was I took a hose clamp and kind of fed it through so it spidered in between these and clamped down nice and tight onto that. And that was able to make it work pretty well. On top of wiring up the clips and to put it in like that, I also got, not going through the standard hole for the gas, I went 10 AN and I actually drilled through the top of it and got my own bulkhead here. So this is thicker coming out of the pump. So there is no restriction coming out of the Walbro 525 and out into the rest of the fuel system for my car, which is all -8. I'm sorry, I said it was -10 before. It is -8. This is a -8 fitting all the way through. So when you don't have fuel restrictions like this, some people will say, oh, I got great fuel lines, You're only as good as the smallest part of your fuel line, which is this right here, which is much thicker than what it came with coming out of there. And then obviously coming out of here is much thicker than there. So anytime you could do something like this, this will drastically help your fuel system, help it flow more consistently, and this fuel pump is going to be able to handle all the power I'm going to throw at it, or at least up to 800 horsepower. So I am going to go ahead and just drop the new fuel pump in while we're at it here, because the last thing I want is to be able to have the fuel pump struggle to keep up with the boost once I turn it up over the wastegate, which hopefully we're going to do this week. I've had enough. We're just, now that I have the new differential, I'm not scared about blowing this one up because I almost have everything together to drop the new one in. So whenever this one goes pop-a-doodle, then we will put it in, the new one. So I'll pull this out of the way. I have an awful fuel smell in the car, and I have no idea what it is because it's not this at all. It's not it at all. There's no fuel here. It's sealed up pretty good. Nothing really. Gonna have to figure out what it is. I'm gonna take these off. Here, that's my return. The return's gonna stay the same. The feed is gonna be much bigger. So, as you can see here, that's it. There's the new one in. All up, there's the old feed. Nothing's going to that now, so don't worry. I'm gonna zip tie that off and make sure so we don't lose any pressure there. But this is what the old one was coming out. And then this is what the new one is going off of the bulkhead. And it actually fits. You gotta get a tight 90-degree like that, otherwise it's gonna stick out. But it will fit on here. And then everything just plugs back on, and now we got a hellcat fuel pump. right, so after I swapped out the fuel pump, I had some things going on. It was running really lean on the passenger side, the even side. So, but I had fuel pressure, so I didn't think the fuel pump was struggling. I did it first. However, so I pulled the spark plugs and they look really lean. And so there's something going on with the injectors. So I pulled the injectors out and it turns out there's something got in there. My fuel filter actually must have crapped out or something. I'm gonna upgrade to a better one. But first I want to take those injectors out. We're gonna run them through an ultrasonic cleaner, but I'm also going to use this here. It's a fuel injector tester, which actually will pulsate the injectors while it's in the ultrasonic cleaner to help clean them out. So we're gonna work on that now. In addition to not having a very good fuel filter, I also got eBay AN rubber lines, and I feel like they've been breaking down over time as I've been driving the car, so I am gonna replace them with full 8AN PTFE lines. So I also think this fuel filter crapped out on me. It is a cheap eBay one. It's 100 micron. This one is a Fuel Lab. Oh, upside down. This is a Fuel Lab one. It's 10 microns, so it's got even better filter in it. So hopefully this one will hold up. This one's supposedly really good. Picked it up from Summit. Shipped quick too. So I'm working with on a budget here. I don't have all the good fancy AN stuff. So I just took just pieces of flat aluminum and taped them to my vise. That way when I, clamp down the PTFE, it doesn't gouge it up so bad. Still gonna do it a little bit. Obviously you wanna get the proper tools, but you can jerry rig something if you can. So you wanna get this on before you start spreading this out here. Otherwise it'll never go on. And then I take a screwdriver and just kind of working my way around the outside because you don't want to stab at all this little stuff here. But just kind of spread it out. And then you want to have this thing be able to fit in and be flush with the top of this. There. If it's not, you just got to spread it out more. And then I even just kind of press it down into the vise like that, so it's a little more. And hopefully you can see, now it's flush. So then I can put the fitting on. There we go. And this should easily go into the vise now that it's nice and clamped down. This still is flexible, but you want this then to go inside of this. I probably should use some water. There. Now that's on flush. So I'm going to tighten this guy back up. And I don't have your really good AN wrenches. They all come anodized aluminum, all that cool stuff, which does prevent from scarring and stuff. And they're also a different size. If you ever noticed, you can never get the right wrench to go over them, no matter what you do. Maybe a 19 for some people. This is a 22 millimeter. It just doesn't go. When I try 23 or 24, it doesn't work. So I just use an adjustable. I know, I'm crazy, but it works. tighten this up. We'll get cranking on that. All right, so now that that's all tight, we have our first hose for the PTFE. Now this fitting is the same size, but the old AN hoses are a little smaller, so it might be easier to get through the back of the car. Because I actually have to drop the gas tank like an inch just to fit this through. So this should actually help a little bit, but yeah. All right, so because this is gonna be hugging close to the firewall and near the end of the block, just got some heat shield just in case run this time. It wasn't a problem last time, but it's always good to have some heat shield as you're getting close to hot parts. Try this. So I electrical taped the crap out of that. We're gonna try the old snakeroo technique up and over the top of the gas tank. I dropped the gas tank off the bolts maybe half an inch. So this might work. Let's give it a shot. All right, so visibly, and you can hear, it's running better, but not great. The AFRs are still high on the Holley Terminator, but the AFRs on my wideband AEM is like way off. So I'm thinking maybe that one is busted or something else going on. The plugs look okay. It really just needs to get fully tuned now, so I think that's gonna be the next step for me. Let me know what you guys think is going on. I'm kind of stumped a little bit trying to figure out what's going on with it. I really do think it needs to get plugged back into a laptop and get tuned again, because the auto learn is off on the Terminator X. So thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're into this kind of stuff. All stuff E36 Turbo LS. I also got a bunch of other cars that I work on. My Corvette C5, it's a track car. So thank you guys very much, and I'll catch you in the next one.